Hello, Nettie Owens here with Sapari Solutions, founder of Momentum Accountability. And today I've brought with me Susan Rose, a visibility coach. She is an amazing person that I'm actually really excited to get to interview today and share her insights, answering the question that we've been talking about in all of these, which is, what do businesses need to know right now? And what she's going to be sharing with us is what businesses need to know right now about thought leadership and content marketing. So really relevant, especially now that so many of us are online, even when we weren't expecting to be, and people are online checking out what you're doing, social media, websites, all of that kind of stuff. Susan Rose helps women entrepreneurs over the age of 50 increase their impact and income in 90 days or less by helping them connect with their audience in a way that increases engagement and builds loyalty, increase visibility and become a recognized expert easily and comfortably, and create more impact and income by strategically positioning themselves as a leader. Having been on the receiving end of Susan's services, she is an expert at what she does, and so I'm so glad to be able to have her here today. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm going to take you everywhere to always. That was fabulous. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Happy to do so. I'll just be your sidekick, and I'll be like, and this is Susan, and all the wonderful things.
And I just have to sit there.
Perfect. Well, these are fast and furious interviews, Susan, and I'd love to just jump right in. The first question I have is, I just talked about how everything is really coming online right now. Everybody's on social media. People who weren't on before are definitely on now. What do businesses need to be doing to stay visible to their clients and prospects at this point?
Yeah, so that's a great point. Everybody's online. People have more time. They're not commuting. There's these hours in the day that now they have to spend researching who they want to work with. The thing businesses need to know now, which is actually kind of what they always need to know, is that people are researching you before they decide whether to buy from you or work with you. So that means you're going to be looking for what you're putting out there, not just, it's not just about posting, and it's not just about, having engagement questions and stuff, which are good, but it's also about demonstrating that expertise through thought leadership types of materials, which are your white papers, or your longer articles, or ebooks, or things of that nature. So businesses need to be putting out that kind of content as well, and using their social media to drive people to it, so that their prospects are finding them and learning about them.
Yeah, no, this is actually really fascinating, because I've seen a lot of people hopping online right now. I've seen a lot of people increasing their social media presence right now. But what you're saying is that's not quite enough. It's good, but you should also be putting out information that really positions you as the expert. And that looks like longer articles, longer posts, press releases. Like, tell me a little bit more.
Press releases is going to be more, think education. You want to be training your people. So webinars are a great thing to be putting out right now, or some sort of an online workshop. These are the opportunities for people to dig a little deeper, for you to answer some kind of question that they have, some sort of problem they're grappling with, and show them that you understand all there is to understand about that problem, and that you have some answers and solutions for them. So it's really about all the content that is beyond the social media posts. That's how
I mean, and there's so much stuff. I've seen just kind of this flood of free, cheap resources out there, but you're saying really like meaty, juicy things that people can really look at and say, my goodness, she knows her stuff, because she shared all of like this, and the research and the resources that go with it.
Right. You're looking at the buyer's journey. And so at the content marketing at this stage of it, it's the evaluation. People are deciding who they're working with, and they need more than that surface level.
Okay.
In order to make that choice.
That makes a lot of sense. So how do we stand out and amongst the noise, though? I mean, how do we differentiate when there is so much kind of free and cheap and maybe not the deep meaty stuff,
Mm-hmm.
how do we show people, how do we guide them to that? I'm not even sure what question to ask here, but
yeah. So I'm going to say something that basically every marketing person on the planet says, and that is understand who your target audience is. Understand who this person is who's going to buy from them. Understand everything you possibly can about them and talk to that one singular person directly in everything that you do. And what's going to happen is if I'm talking to you, Nettie Owens, some other people out there, they're still going to resonate with it because I'm making this emotional bond and emotional connection with you and understanding that I know what your challenges are. That's the way to do it. There's like this life of trying to talk to everybody. You're not.
And you talk to nobody. And I see it kind of as like I'm sorry, I'm going to say this and it's probably going to come off wrong, but sort of that newbie mistake, right? Like that new in business mistake where you're like, I love to do everything. I love to help everyone. I don't want to narrow it down. And yet when you do that, your message hits nowhere. It just kind of goes off into this void. But you've got another trick kind of up your sleeve to help ensure that things resonate. And I'd love for you to share a little bit more about where emotion comes into this, because I think I'm going to just say, like, from what I'm witnessing, the more women who come into this business space, the more women who are entrepreneurs, I'm seeing more emotion infused into marketing and not into just the business realm. And it's not even like that negative, like, oh my God, this bad thing's going to happen, but all sorts of emotion. So can you talk a little bit about that? Is it unprofessional?
Yeah, no, it's so many of us, especially in my market, grew up, came into business at a time where you did not mix, anything.
Right.
Left that all to you. So no, emotional is not unprofessional at all. It's that human connection again. We are emotional beings. We respond to emotion. We respond to beauty. We respond to feelings. So if you want people to respond to you, you have to connect with them somehow on that emotional level. And you've made a good point. It's not about like all negative stuff or sharing too much information. So I'm not talking about going into the personal, like, oh, I went to the doctor yesterday and guess what happened? I'm not talking about that when it's talking about emotions. It's your feelings about being honest about what's going on right now and how you feel with the world today, or how you feel, your excitement when you've launched something new, or just sharing these pieces of you and not being afraid to have the strong emotion that connects with that, which can be hard for women because we're taught to kind of tamp that down a little bit and to be hysterical and emotional, and that's actually not.
It can be hard for women, even though we might naturally tend to emote a little bit more. But I see it also as a challenge for men. They're kind of unexpected. They're just kind of confronted with emotions and not entirely sure what to do with it. Or even from that male perspective, who also has been taught not to commingle these realms of emotion and business, and so they're not entirely sure how to put it in there.
Yeah, and that is a practice kind of thing. So my suggestion is start telling your story, start journaling it, start writing it down, start recording it just to yourself. You don't have to share it, but just start talking about this stuff so that you can filter through like what is too much to be sharing, what doesn't feel quite appropriate, what feels like it's going to connect with the people who need me. And of course, there's a whole lot more that goes into that, but it's all about everything. Absolutely everything is about connecting to this person who you really want to work with, and this one individual, and how can you build that relationship with them before you talk to them or before they work with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So Susan, I'm sure people are thinking right now, like, this is new. This is kind of different than maybe some of the other things that they've heard about content marketing. How can they reach you? What should they do to learn more?
Well, I've got actually a freebie on my website called the Content Creation Cheat Sheet, which actually is a download that talks about the buyer's journey and what kinds of content are best suited to each of those stages of the journey. So it's really valuable. And that starts with that initial question people have, which is, I don't even know what to do. That's going to answer here's what you do. There. And then from there, when you sign up for it, you'll get on my mailing list, and I send out tips every week that talk about these very things.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on. It's been a pleasure.
Great. See you later.